It's the bicycles. All right, so we're going to start in our seated position. And so the class today will be our usual movement. We'll do a little bit of movement, some stretching, a lot of breath practice, and just get a little bit of mobility work in on our Friday morning. So here we go. So we'll start breathing in through our nose. Start breathing into our bellies and trying to get as low into your belly, into your hips, even if you can. So I was reading some research about breath work this week that suggests that if you are able to slow your breathing down to between 6 and 8 breaths per minute, you are able to calm your, I always get these two mixed up, parasympathetic, really the involuntary one. You're able to calm that to the point where you were able to deal with any significant emotional issue. 6 to 8 breaths is not many. So again, when we're in our seated position, you can have your knees bent. You can have, you can have your legs outstretched in front of you. It doesn't matter as much how you are in this particular pose, kind of like in Shavasana. It's how you are. It's more the feeling that you have in the pose. In seated position, in easy pose, the idea is that we are practicing our breathing, that we are meditating, but that our back is mostly straight, simply so that we can, so it facilitates breathing more easily. All right. Let's get our hands up in the air and just put them on top of our head. Just kind of interlace your hands. And we're just going to do a little bit of movement with our breath just to wake up our side body. So inhale, and I think I'm going to be backwards too, but I'm not sure. But I'm just going to do it on the directions on my side. But inhale and tilt over to your right. On the exhale, then inhale up. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Then exhale to the right. And then inhale up. Exhale to the left. Just one more time. Exhale left. Good. Whew. All right, now let's just do a gentle twist to bring your right hand over to your left knee, left hand, small of your back or on the mat. Inhale, lift up your collarbone so that your chest is coming up, and then rotate to your left. So you're working on bringing your shoulders around, so your right shoulder is coming forward and your left is going backwards. And just go at your own breathing. Inhale, come back, and exhale and rotate. And again, the goal is to be gentle. The goal is simply to breathe, to practice your breath. Let's go to the other side. Left hand on right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale and rotate your shoulders on the exhale. One more breath. Good. All right, we're going to roll forward onto all fours into tabletop pose. And in tabletop, we will be doing some cows and cats, and then we'll do some bird dogs. All right, so find your breathing into your belly. All right, we're going to inhale, bring our bellies down, stick out our butts a little bit, lift up our heads. This is in the cow. When we're done with the inhale, we'll exhale, curl your hips under, rotate your back or push your back out and drop your head. And then inhale into cow. And so let your breath entirely be your guide. And by that I mean, when you inhale, just start inhaling and coming into cow and moving with your inhale. When you're done with your inhale, then start to exhale and start arching your back and tucking your hips under. And when you're done with your exhale, start to inhale. And go at your own pace. We're just moving slowly. All right, let's come back to center. So we're going to come into the bird dog. And in the bird dog, again, you have a bunch of options. So we'll start by lifting up your left hand and pointing it forward and bringing your right, get back here so I'm not on the concrete, bring your right foot back. Okay, now you can stay here, and the goal here is to be practicing your breathing and getting some core work in, getting your belly tensed. But if you can, bring your left heel up into the air, right? And again, do your breathing, okay? So you can stay here, or you can bring your hand into your knee, and then extend on the exhale. You bring your elbow into your knee, and extend on the exhale. Either way, just go slowly. And point with your heel, not your toes. So you're trying to push your heel as far back as you can and reach forward with your hand as far back as you can. And this will be the last one. And then come back down. Rest your hands, rest your shoulders. Do your breathing. Excellent. All right, let's do it on the other side. Point with your right hand, bring your left hand, your left foot back. And leave it there. Bring up your left heel if you can. All right, and then you can do the bird dog crunches if your balance is allowing you to do that today. And it's kind of interesting to find how it might be different from side to side. One more. Good, come down. Then we'll come into a child's pose. So bring your knees wide to the mat, bring your big toes together. And we're going to do an active child's pose. So once your big toes are together, sit your butt back towards your heels. And then from here, reach your hands forward. And then bring your head down. So you're pretty stretched out right now. There's a lot of things happening. So what I'm going to ask you to do, though, is to inhale and lift your hips up a little bit. So you're your butt comes up a little bit, but mostly your lower back. And then on the exhale, you're going to try to stretch your back out by making it flatter. So it'll be inhale and then exhale. So you're trying to bring basically you're rotating your hips. So then on the inhale, you're rotating them rounder, and on the exhale, you're rotating them flatter. And you'll feel this in your upper hamstrings, even into your glutes, maybe into your shoulders, because you're bringing your collarbones a little bit closer to the mat on the exhale. Breathe into your belly. Good. All right. Let's come into a downward dog. And again, as always, if downward dog is too much, you can be in a puppy pose, which is simply having your knees on the ground. Otherwise, downward dog is coming up. The squeaky feet. And we'll come up on the inhale on your tiptoes, and on the exhale, push your right heel down. Exhale, there you go. Push your left heel down. And just keep working on. This is a cork mat, and it's really squeaky and cold. Excellent. Let's look to the top of the mat. We'll take an inhale. And as we exhale, let's walk our feet forward into a forward fold. And then we'll hang out here for a moment in a ragdoll pose. So in ragdoll, our knees are bent. The goal is to hinge at our hips. Often in the beginning, I've got to keep my hands on my knees because otherwise it puts too much pressure on my lower back. And so the inhale is to bring my torso up, and then the exhale is to let it fall forward. And eventually, you can bring your hands to the mat. You can wrap your hands around your opposite elbows. And we also want to relax our neck. So you can shake your head yes and no, and forward or backwards, side to side. In each exhale, you're trying to get a little bit looser. You can see how, I started here, and now I'm coming down. This is your muscles start to relax. All right, then we'll inhale into a half lift. And then try to get a flat back and feel the strength in your lower back. We're going to do another inhale and exhale just to hold it and feel the strength in your back. And exhale, and then inhale all the way up. And hands to heart center, and then hands to your side. And get a coffee break. All right. Let's be in a mountain pose. And what we'll do is a couple of sun salutation flows. And I'll talk it through, and then I'll show you some modifications so that you can adjust as you need to. So we'll do high and overheads, forward fold, half lift, and then we'll step back to a lunge, hold it for a second or two, step back to a plank, and then push back to a downward dog. So when you come down with your hands on the mat, you can just push to a downward dog. You can come to a puppy pose, or you can just stay in a forward fold for a moment and then join us as we come back up. So there's a couple of options as we go, depending on how much time you want to spend on the mat before we get there in a few minutes. Excuse me. All right, so we'll inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, this is where we put our hands on the mat. And then bring a foot back. And we're just going to hold this here just for a second. Inhale, exhale, inhale. And then we're going to bring our left foot back and then push back to a downward dog. All right, so that's the basic movement. Okay, good. Inhale, walk our feet forward into a forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold, all the way up, all the way back down. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, this is where we put our hands on the mat again, and then this time bring our left foot back into a lunge. We will inhale, exhale, inhale, and bring your right foot back, and then push back to a downward dog. All right, we're going to do that one more time. And then we'll go into our strengthening part. Good. So it's inhale, lift to the top of the mat. Walk your feet forward. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to a mountain, arms overhead. Flip your palms out. Swan dive down to a forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, right foot back into a lunge. All right, let's see if you can drop this down. Inhale up, exhale down. Very, very good. Nice. And then bring your left foot back into a downward dog. Excellent. We're just going to do one more of those. That's all we got to deal with. And then we're going to walk our feet forward into a forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. Flip your hands around and come on down to a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands on the mat, left foot back. And inhale your hips up a little. Exhale, sink them down. There you go. Good. Inhale, then bring your right foot back. That's so much harder than the other one. But that's the beauty of your building strength on both sides and building up all those stabilizer muscles that help us walk and stay balanced. All right, inhale, walk your feet forward into forward fold. Inhale into I think I just said backwards. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way to mountain. Bring your hands together, hands to heart center, and back down. That was good. Nice work. Sun salutations are meant to be done, first thing in the morning and waking yourself up. And you can see how that happens by building up a little bit of work and a little bit of movement in our hips. All right, so what we're going to do is our traditional warrior sequence: warrior 1, warrior 2, reverse warrior, and side angle or extended side angle. And we'll do that twice. And we'll do it once, normal-ish pace. And then the second time, we'll hold it for our usual 10 or so breaths. All right, so let's start in our main mountain pose. And again, if you need to get coffee or water or whatever, please do so. All right, we'll take an inhale, and then we're going to step back with our right foot. All right, so as far back as you feel like you can, and then drop your back heel. Okay, so this is going to be warrior one. And warrior one allows a little bit of extra balance because my heels are all lined up. They're all in one straight line. My front knee is over my front ankle. My back leg, on the screen it looks like it's bent, but it's really, I'm really trying to get it pretty much straight, but I'm not locking it out. I'm just having it straight. The key is that you're going to feel the work being done on your left butt cheek and your left thigh, and an opening on your right thigh. So then our arms are up in the air. Inhale and rotate forward. Okay, good. Now we're going to rotate into a warrior two. So now my hips and shoulders, instead of trying to be forward, I'm going to try to get them sideways, and I'm going to roll back out. All right, so now my hands are coming apart. My left knee is over my left ankle, and my back leg is standing right where it's at. Breathe into your belly through your nose. So the inhale is to relax my shoulders. The exhale is to extend them forward and backwards. Good. Now I'm going to drop my right hand, inhale, and exhale into a reverse warrior. So now I'm trying to leave my hips and shoulders in the same plane, like I was getting squished by a couple of panes of glass. And I'm opening up my left side body. And coming back. And there we go. Good. I'm going to inhale, and now I'm just going to try to rotate my torso as well as I can. And I'm going to come into a side angle or an extended side angle. Extended, I'm going to take my forearm, put it on my thigh, and rotate my right hand so that there's a relatively straight line from my hand to my foot. All right. Option B is to come into a full side angle, which is to drop my left hand down so that my knee is kind of on the inside of my thigh or my forearm, and then my right hand is coming up to the ceiling. All right, now I'm going to rotate up. I'm going to rotate my feet around so that now my right foot is going forward. My left foot is back, and I'm going to come into warrior one on this side. All right, so now my right butt cheek is doing the work because my weight is on my right heel. My right toes are like dinosaur claws. Inhale and exhale and rotate forward. Again, my back leg is mostly straight. Good. Now I'm going to rotate into a warrior two. So on the inhale, I'm kind of rotating my shoulders sideways, and on the exhale, extending them as wide as possible. Good. Now we're going to come into reverse warrior. I'm going to inhale, bring my right hand up into the air. Left hand is coming to my left thigh or side, or I'm going to wrap it around my body, my lower back. Inhale. So the one advantage of doing this online is that we get a lot of kind of more detailed instruction, I suppose. All right, now we're going to come into our side angle or extended side angle. Again, I'm trying to keep my body level in this one plane. So I'm just tilting over, and I'm either bringing my elbow onto my thigh and my arm up so that there's a relatively straight line from my left foot to my left hand, or I'm going to come and open up into a side angle. Either way, it's kind of whatever works for your body today. All right, now we're going to roll up. All right, now we're going to bring our feet sideways. And we're going to end this by coming into a goddess pose. All right, so my feet are wide, my toes are pointing out at an angle, and I'm going to sit back and down. And then I'm going to bring my elbows out into a cactus arms. So my elbows are coming down as far as I can, and my shoulder blades are coming together. So the inhale is to come up a little bit, the exhale is to sink a little bit farther, bring my elbows as if I'm trying to fold my body backwards. Yep. Good. Now we'll bring this back, bring your hands down, walk your feet together. And we're just going to rest here for a second. I'm going to get a cup of coffee or a sip of coffee. All right, now we're going to do that again, and we're going to go much more slowly. So keep that in mind as you're getting set up. You can always, like in Warrior One, you can always drop your hands to your waist or to your shoulders. So you have some options in terms of how you modify this. The reason that we hold the pose, there are two of them. One, the primary one is to really give us a chance to practice the breathing while we are moving, so that we focus our attention on the breath and not on the movement, but that the breathing guides the movement. The second is that it builds up a lot of isometric strength. And by isometric, we're basically squeezing. And by squeezing the muscles and working them in an extended position, like when I'm coming in here, my hamstrings and my glutes are getting longer. And when we do that, we create a lot of stress on the muscles. So you're actually doing a lot of strength work. All right, so here we go. We're going to inhale, take a step back with your right foot, and we're going to come into our Warrior One pose. All right, let's see how I can do on counting today. All right, so inhale, relax the torso, exhale, rotate forward. Check your front knee. Check your back knee. Try to rotate your shoulders forward. You can try to look up into the sky, or in my case, the garage ceiling. Just keep rotating with your breath. Focus on dragging the breath into your belly. Good. We'll do 2 more breaths. Good. Then we'll inhale, and we're going to rotate into a Warrior Two. So you should be feeling this now in your left butt cheek, probably in your left thigh, but also on the inside of your right thigh and in your right hip. So again, the inhale is to kind of relax your shoulders. The exhale is to extend them. Just focus on your breath. So your attention is on your breathing. Good. All right, now we're going to come into reverse warrior in about another breath. Good. Now inhale, bring your right hand down, left hand up. Okay, so again, now on the inhale, you're bringing your right shoulder, your left shoulder forward, and then the exhale, you're bringing your arm up and back. And you're just trying to create some space in your left side body. Good, almost there. And now we're going to inhale, rotate your torso, same way, and just try to bring, so we're coming either into a side angle or extended side angle. So change my position. So I'm going to do extended side angle. So the goal, again, now is to bring my right shoulder up so that my torso is flat. That's not the right word. My right shoulder is on top of my left. Now you guys are doing really well. Keep going. We're almost done. 2 more breaths. Good. All right, now bring your torso up, hands up. This time, instead of just rotating into the next one, we're going to take a bit of a break because that was a lot of time isometrically. Ooh, all right. I can feel that. Okay, now we're going to be moving back. With our left foot. We're going to inhale, bring your left foot back. Drop your left heel, and now we're coming into a warrior 1 on this side. That took us longer than I thought. All right. All right, so again, focus on rotating your shoulders while you are paying attention to your breath. Feel the mobility opening up in your hips, along with the strength in your right side and your right leg and your glute and your core holding everything up. And again, you can always drop your arms to your side or to your shoulders. So what's nice about this is that you can always adjust the difficulty by how much you're taking your legs apart. You can make it more difficult by bringing your feet out farther, coming down farther into this pose. Good, now we're going to inhale and rotate into a warrior 2. Good, so your hands are reaching forward and backwards. Front knee is over over your front ankle. Good, we're just reaching. Just remember to keep the weight on your back foot too. I just looked it over there. I was got kind of leaning way forward, and you don't want that. You want to try to be keeping your torso straight up and down. Again, bring your hands down. I can feel my shoulders starting to burn just a little bit. Check your, whatever you need to do. Good, one more breath. You got this. Inhale into your, oh wait, other way. Right hand up. I was doing, skipping a step into reverse warrior. Again, you can bring your left hand back. The good news is that when we are done with this, we're going to come to the mat and stretch out a little bit. And then we'll do Shavasana for a few moments. And again, inhale, lift your torso, exhale, reach back. Good, one more time. Good, now we're gonna roll forward into an extended side angle or a full side angle. Forearm on your thigh and reach with your hand. And again, the goal is to have that relatively straight line from your hand to your foot. And I'm looking at myself saying, well, I can't see what the heck it is, but it's close. Now what matters is that, again, you're breathing into your belly. You're breathing low through your nose. On the exhale, you're trying to bring your left shoulder back. All right, so in a couple of breaths, you're going to get a choice here. You can either just come down to a seated position. We're going to end up on our back in a minute. Or you can kind of do a cartwheel and bring your hands to the mat. All right, here we go. So inhale, bring your hands to the mat around your foot. Bring your right foot back. Bring your knees down. That was harder than it looked. Maybe it looked really hard too. Now we're going to come down into a seated position. Okay, how are we doing on time? Perfect. All right. Let's come into a butterfly pose. I think I may have just said we're going to end up on our back, but not quite yet. So in a butterfly pose, we are going to put the soles of our feet together. All right, we'll inhale, lift up our torsos. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale up. And exhale, fall forward. And you can even try to reach forward with your hands if you want. So we will do some spinal twisting in a moment. And we'll do a happy baby. And then we'll do a bit of Shavasana for a couple, 2 minutes or so, 3 minutes. And if you have any questions, you can hang out at the end. Remember that we are also signed up for next Wednesday and Friday. Anybody can join us. So if you have neighbors or friends that would like to join us, pass the word, pass the link on. All right, we'll do just a little bit more. Good. All right, now let's roll back onto our backs, knees in the air. All right. So We're on our backs, knees in the air, soles of our feet are on the ground. Our hands are at about a 45-degree angle at the end of our arms, which is where our hands usually are. Let's bring our knees and our ankle bones together. So we're all kind of a tight circle here. Now we're going to inhale and drop your knees over to the right just a little bit, because they're not going to come very far, because you're going to keep your knees together. And then you're going to drop them over to the left on your next exhale. Good. And now we're going to inhale, bring them over to your right, but this time you're just going to let them fall as far as they might, and keep your feet on the ground and your shoulders on the ground, but your left butt cheek is going to come up off the mat. And then inhale up, and then right back to the left as you drop your knees, and your right butt cheek's going to come off the mat. Now do this a few times to your own breathing. Exhale, let your knees fall. And you'll feel some twists in your lower back, maybe in your hips, maybe in your hip flexors, the muscles in the front of your hips. Good. All right, now bring your knees back up to center. Walk your feet out to the sides of the mat this time. And now you're going to inhale and drop your knees to the right, but your left knee is coming towards the ground. Again, your shoulders stay on the mat, your left butt cheek is coming off, and you're trying to get the outside of your left hip to open up a little bit. And inhale, come up. Exhale, now your right knee comes in almost to the, as low to the ground as you can get. Mine is not anywhere close to that. But what we're trying to do is to feel the outside of our hips, one side at a time. So as I'm dropping my knees to the right, my left knee comes down almost to my right foot. That's kind of the target. And I'm feeling this on the outside of my leg and on my hip. And now my right knee is coming to my left foot. And I'm just rotating easily. And the goal here is that we did the butterflies and we were opening the inside of our thigh muscles, and now we're working on the outside of our hips and thighs and trying to just continue to open them a little bit, along with getting a bit of a twist. We didn't do a lot of twists today. All right, hands around your knees, and you can pull them into your armpits. And this is kind of just opening up the backs of your thighs and your glutes and maybe your lower back. The inhale is just to relax your arms and your hands so that your knees come back. And then on the exhale, you are pulling gently in as you release the air from your belly. It's that slow. So in a second, we'll come into happy baby, and you're going to grab your foot if you can. Otherwise, you can wrap your arms around your back of your knees, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so we'll come into happy baby. You can grab your toes, like a baby with the balls of your feet or the sides of your feet. Or if that's too much, you can grab the behind your legs and just kind of put your feet together. The goal is to create a bit of a curve with your spine. Your head can come off the mat, but that makes a lot of work. And that's why happy baby is a little bit more comfortable. And we're just rolling back and forth and letting my spine get a bit of a massage, but the primary goal is just to kind of let my hamstrings and my hips just kind of open as I start to relax a little bit.
So we're going to come into Shavasana, and we're just going to do it for a little bit. And I'm going to be in a seated position simply because it's easier for me there to practice my breathing. And I find it a little bit more active. So Shavasana is technically corpse pose that we're lying down in on our backs. But it's also that kind of that state of relaxation time at the end of a yoga practice. And so you can do what you want with it. All right, let's roll out. So you can extend your legs. You can have your knees in the air. You can, stay in a reclined butterfly. You can come in a seated position. It's really what you choose, and you can relax entirely. You can just lie there, think about nothing. Think about your breathing. Pay attention to your breathing, or you can think about what you're going to have for lunch or what comes next. It's really entirely up to you. I am going to focus on my breathing for a couple of moments. And that is it. All right, let's come back into awareness and come up to a seated position when you are ready. It's going to be hard to know when you're all ready since some of you are not on camera. So we're just going to assume. So we'll be in our seated positions in a moment. Find your breathing back into your belly. Good. Let's bring our hands to our sides. Inhale, bring them up overhead. Hands together, hands to heart center on the exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. And 1 more time. Remember that the word namaste that we always say at the end of practices has a lot of meaning, but essentially it means a sense of gratitude. So put in your mind somebody for whom you are grateful for today and how you might express that gratitude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, and namaste. All right, we'll see you hopefully next Wednesday. Again, spread the word. Anybody can join us. Easy flow yoga. I think that's what the name of the class is, but spread the thing. If you have any questions, text, email, let me know. All right, we'll see you guys later. Do, 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 do.
Marianne, Leanne, hope you have good days.